Hello and welcome to this presentation on economic, societal and political aspects in ICN. My name is Pouyan Fotouhi Tehrani and I'm going to discuss some non-technical issues that we hold crucial for a successful deployment of ICN on a global scale. ICN, as a paradigm shift in networking, evolves around the idea of named data objects and is based on two basic premises. One, the main purpose of the internet is content distribution, and that users don't care about where the data is coming from, they only care about the content itself. Based on this, ICN introduces three fundamental new bindings. The first one is the binding between an ICN name and its location within the network. Respectively, the network layer is responsible to discover, that is to resolve a name to an instance, and deliver content based on its name, be it from the original producer or any other caching node. The network layer is also responsible in mapping names to actual bits and bytes. And finally, it should be possible to map a name to its authorized owner. We posed the question of respective impacts of these newly introduced bindings and discussed 5 topics. First, names are commodities. If we compare ICN names with domain names, we can imagine that at some point ICN names are also going to become valuable commodities, and as such, we need to cater for fair namespace management and mechanisms to address respective conflicts and disputes. If you are interested in this topic, you can check out our previous work. The second topic is the shift of power within information-centric networks due to shift of responsibilities that has been in the hand of content producers and consumers in host-centric networks. Whereas on the internet, the name owners decide how to map a domain name to actual location of data through DNS. In ICN, the network operators decide how to discover data and where to fetch it. Second, by whitelisting or blacklisting specific names, network operators can decide what contents are allowed to exist on the network, something that is more complicated to realize on the internet through deep packet inspection or similar approaches. And finally, namespace managers can decide which entities are allowed to take part in the network by allocating or denying allocation of namespaces. Trustworthy communication, a topic which is currently addressed mainly on the application layer, has been partly pushed down to the network layer. It remains an open challenge for network operators how to authenticate producers and even consumers without performing resource-heavy cryptographic operations. In addition, trustworthy namespace management requires defining a globally acknowledged trust model and respective infrastructure for which there is no consensus at the moment within the ICN community. The fourth topic, accountability, goes hand in hand with the shift of power in ICN. As network operators and namespace managers are given new responsibilities, they can also be held accountable. Nonetheless, we first need to define the limits of such accountability. Are the operators responsible for discovering and delivering illegal or pirated content? How can ICN operators cater for different, even paradoxical legal imperatives in different countries? For example, the Good Samaritan protection in the US or the Germany's Network Enforcement Act. Finally, namespace managers should implement adequate measures comparable to registrar accreditation agreement as a legal framework for allocation and assignment of ICN names. The last topic might be the most interesting challenge for ICN. Since there is no adequate abstraction of producers and consumers, and the communication is defined only through data names, it is respectively very complicated to realize private communication among a restricted number of producers and consumers. Moreover, specifically in case of human meaningful and expressive names, communication confidentiality is jeopardized as names might reveal information about the content itself. And finally, anonymous communication will be hard to realize as signed data reveals the source of a piece of content. In conclusion, we can assert that people care about data, but they also care about all the topics that we discussed here before ICN can enjoy successful deployment on a global scale. If you have any questions, critique, or just find this topic interesting, don't hesitate to contact me at pft@acm.org. Thank you.